Good evening, everybody. Today we've got a CMC story. I'm always excited to read about those crazy kids, so let's begin this episode of FIM Fiction Roulette, a series where I go through the annals of FIM fiction, take a random story and a random chapter from within said story, if applicable, and read it aloud for all of you to hear. The author claims this to be the real story behind the Cutie Mark Crusaders. What does that mean? Was this Faust's vision? You know, I really like the Crusaders. The main six are adults, they have jobs, a great amount of freedom, and I appreciate that over something like a show entirely about high school drama. But we still get a little bit of school stories through the adorable Cutie Mark Crusaders. It's almost like a palate cleanser, not to mention all the great songs they have. I'm very excited to see the truth behind our delightful trio. As always, we'll start with the introduction and then head into our selected chapter, this being the final one in this short story. Without further ado, this is Blank Flanks by Perry Pinky Potter. The real story behind the Cutie Mark Crusaders isn't pretty. What happens if a pony's cutie mark doesn't represent who they are? Chapter 4 Epilogue. After Crusaders of the Lost Mark at Sweet Apple Acres. I really am proud of you, Apple Bloom. Applejack smiled at me. I grinned back. Thanks, Applejack. It's definitely a nice cutie mark. And it matches you very well, she commented. I paused. Huh? Well, your name's Apple Bloom, and your cutie mark has an apple. But that's not what it's for. Applejack, however, continued. And it kind of matches your color scheme. I shook my head. I guess. Why point it out, though? Aren't most marks like that? I asked her. Applejack grinned. The right ones are. You can finally go home. I stopped, confused. Go home? Applejack, what do you mean? Applejack stuck me with a needle. I started crying and turned my head to Applejack. Why would you do that? Applejack looked at me seriously. Lemon lime, she stated. It was a trigger phrase, and boy did it work. The moment she said it, everything came flowing back. Applejack, I said, somewhat coldly. I was feeling very conflicted. On one hand, she had took me from my home, brainwashed me, and trapped me in a room for a year. But on the other hand, the pony I had gotten to know these past years was one of the nicest ponies I'd ever met. Applejack began to tear up. Goodbye, Apple Bloom. I'm sorry for everything. They said it was for the best. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm really sorry. I love you so much. Goodbye. Then she pushed me through. Principal Celestia finished explaining. So wait a minute. Principal Celestia, you're saying it's our job to do what you did to us? Principal Celestia nodded. It slowly dawned on me. I would be taking people from their families, trapping them, drugging them, brainwashing them, making their life complete Tartarus. I cried. And the minute everyone was out of sight, I shot myself. I did it wrong, and I ended up dying more painfully than I had hoped. But my final request to the other Crusaders was to let everyone know about what happened, to help make sure everyone's mark was correct, and for them to never forget my story, cruel, sick, and vile, so that no one would ever have to go through what I went through, so that no one would ever wake up in Equestria, and so they would never wake up a blank flank. End. So that was Faust's vision. I'd like to imagine we're both a bit confused. So let's go over what I think the plot is, just to make sure we're on the same page. The CMC got the wrong cutie marks in their world, which, based off of the use of Principal Celestia, that means Equestria girls, which I don't think makes sense because they don't have cutie marks there, right? So I'm probably a little bit off. Moving on. They were drugged and had their memories suppressed until a code word was spoken and were forced through the portal to Equestria. They got new cutie marks in Equestria, possibly several, until they got the correct one. And then they're sent back? For what purpose? Why do they need a quote-unquote correct cutie mark? And then Apple Bloom says, screw it, you guys can deal with the crazy conspiracy, I'm out for good. But hey, at least Applejack is still a great pony, despite being part of a drugged child trafficking ring. I don't think a cutie mark could ever really be wrong, though, given the show's logic. But if you did get the wrong cutie mark, I'm pretty sure you'd just be up a creek without a paddle, forever doomed to paint your new cutie mark on your flank like Glimmer in her communist village. Also, having the character who died narrate the story doesn't really work. How are they communicating to us? Through a Ouija board? Instead, maybe have it their last message before they take that long walk off a short plank. Or better yet, don't have our beloved little flower die. My question for you, my dear viewer, is, if you were trafficked to Equestria, who do you want your parents to be? That was a chapter from Blank Flanks. Thank you, Perry Pinky Potter, for making such a wonderful story. The link will be in the description below. And thank you, listeners, for joining me on this exciting adventure. This is Open Air, signing off. But don't worry, I'll be back soon with another FIM Fiction Roulette. But hey, at least Applejack is still a great pony despite being part of a drugged child trafficking ring. A drugged child trafficking ring. I'm gonna keep saying... Man, I sure love saying this phrase a whole bunch. Drugged child trafficking ring. My god, I'm on so many fucking lists right now. Shit.